What is good, guys? It's your boy, this dude, all over again, and today's episode of awesome, amazing animals, we got the axolotl. Let's go. Alright, for starters, what is an axolotl? Right? These animals are closely related to other salamanders, but axolotls remain their fully aquatic stage throughout their entire lives. They're cousins, we'll say like the tiger salamander, right? They go through the same stage where they're fully aquatic, where they stay in the water. In adulthood, they'll lose their gills in order to take on the land. They come out of the water and they become semi-aquatic, more land creatures. Your axolotl doesn't do that. It, for one, has the gills on its head. It has a fin that starts normally in the center of its back, runs all the way to its tail, but it stays in its F form, or fully aquatic stage, its entire life, from the time it's born to the end. After adulthood, this animal will always be in the water, which is kind of cool. So that's what separates it from some of its cousins. Now, there are other fully aquatic salamanders like mud puppies and things like that, which have some of the same features, but they're totally different animals. You would know as soon as you see them. Now, they say these animals are nearly extinct in the wild. Some sources will tell you that they don't have a home on this planet, like they're extinct in the wild. Some sources will tell you there's only a couple, but that's kind of alarming. Right? Now, when it comes to the captive population of this animal, we have hundreds of thousands of them, right? We've got that down. They have a home indoors, no problem. They don't have a home outdoors, big problem. And to tell you the truth, I don't really think there's too much anybody can do about that. Them being endemic to a real small area in Mexico or something like that, these animals are suffering huge habitat loss out there, and I don't really think there's anything anybody can do about it. We have enough in captivity, but as far as like reintroducing them or bringing populations back out in the wild, that's not gonna happen. Now, they say these animals are sexually mature anywhere between 18 to 27 months, something like that. I'm not exactly sure how to identify the males and the females. Okay, so they say the males, much like in a lot of reptile species, a lot of like gecko species rather, will have a bigger like cloaca area where the hemipenes sit. He has a bigger area down there, and usually the females, I guess, is just like smooth, so that makes sense. And they say there are a couple different morphs, couple different colors. You know me, I love my colors. That's my thing. That's what we do over here. But there's a couple different morphs. Now, you got your normal wild type, which is just like the blackish or brown with the lighter spots on it. Those are your normal wild types. Still a very beautiful animal. You also have your leucistic, which is like the pink, like the pale pinkish one with the black eyes. Very beautiful animal. These are the ones that I've known, like anytime I think of axolotls, that's the one that comes to mind. It's the pale pink axolotl. Then you have the golden albino, right? I just found out about this one. I was never like, hey, let's get axolotls before, until I seen the golden albino. I was like, oh, I like that one. But they're orange with orange eyes. Beautiful animal. And then you've got your like melanistic, right? Which is completely black, no patterning, no spots, nothing like that. It's usually just a completely black axolotl. Another absolutely amazing animal. Now, this is a cool species. If you're getting into this, man, you gotta keep that water cool. At least from what I hear, from what I see. I watch a lot of other YouTubers that have pets and things like that, and some of them have axolotls, and yeah, they have to keep that water cool. So you gotta keep the water cool. I'm not exactly sure what the temperatures are, right? Let me find out. All right, so apparently they're saying you keep your water about 68 degrees. Jeez Louise, I live in Florida. That would be really hot. I'm pretty sure we can just get a chiller. We can just get a chiller and do that, no problem. But 60 to the 60s, you gotta keep your water in the 60s for these animals to live comfortably. For me, that would be a little bit of a problem, but once again, like I said, get a chiller, it's okay. Some of you guys that live in cooler places, that's effortless, right? I think that'd be really easy, but and you want to keep the substrate on the bottom, whatever you decide to use, just make sure they can't ingest it, I guess. Anyway, like I was saying, I heard impaction is an issue. Haven't seen it myself, but I've heard that that is kind of a common issue with axolotls. So keep your substrate, whatever you use, just make sure that it's bigger than the size of their mouth. Like they can't fit it in their mouths. Not to say that you can't use substrate though, because I've seen some very well put together axolotl enclosures that include substrate, that include rocks and things like that. And they look very well, they function very well, they do exactly what they're supposed to do. So not to say you can't do it, just do your research, I guess, right? Okay, let's talk about the diet for a second. What do these dudes eat? What are they out there? What are they eating in captivity, rather? And real quick, I just had to add the lifespan of these animals is anywhere from 8 to 15 years. You know, if you get your care down, much like with the reptiles, you can expect to see your animal for a very long time. So a little bit of extra care and dedication goes a long way when it comes to these captive bred animals, or just any animal, anything in captivity. A little bit of extra care, a little bit extra attention goes a very long way. They have a solid lifespan, and like I said, it's kind of cool that so many people are working with them in captivity. Y'all keep it up. So apparently they're eating very small fish, little pieces of shrimp, I guess, arthropods, worms, insects. So they have a pretty wide variety of things that they'll eat, and they almost like snap at their food, almost like snapping turtles. They locate food by smell, so they have a pretty acute sense of smell, track down their food that way. Like I said, pretty much anything they could fit in their mouth and they could clamp down on, they eat. Yeah, they're saying trout, salmon pellets, bloodworms, earthworms. They have a huge variety of items they'll actually take, which is amazing. That makes things a little bit easier, right? You can keep some of these things stocked. So to minimize how much you actually have to leave and go look for things, is a pretty wide variety of items, right? Really amazing. And we're gonna look at price points. Now, the setup for an axolotl is going to change from person to person, but there are a couple basic things that you just absolutely need regardless, whether that be having just clean filtered water or maintaining the proper temperatures. There's certain things that just have to happen regardless. But as far as how much the animals cost, right? Like, we're gonna do some searching around in the market and see what we can find. Let's go. Okay, so we're looking anywhere about $70, $80 to a couple $100, being $100, $200, $300, $400. I guess it's gonna vary depending on breeder, how clean the actual animal is, you know, if their pattern has blemishes in it, or if it's like clean. But I guess it really just depends on the animal and the breeder. But they anywhere from about $70 to $80, all the way up to $300, $400 you can find these animals for. And I would pay that hands down. It's actually relatively cheap for an animal. Absolutely amazing. They're easy to find, readily available, especially in captivity. Like I said, they don't have a home outside, but they have homes inside. We got this down. We have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of axolotls ready to go. If reintroducing them to the wild was an option, we'd be on it. Like, we'd be on it. And this is one of the reasons why I think captive breeding is such a good thing. Such a good thing. When the earth changes due to intervention by man, and these animals don't have a place to go, they will always have a place indoors. And I think that's really good, especially with experienced keepers working with these animals, paying all the attention and giving them all the time in the world. I think it's amazing. I think captive breeding should be done more. It would help science. It would help the animals in general. It would just help. It would help everything. I think captive breeding should be done on a wider scale, because there may be a time where we have to reintroduce some more animals, right? There may be a time, and I see them do this with mammals and stuff like that, but there may be a time where we have to take some of these reptiles and become part of the big picture, right? Big ups to the captive breeding, especially when it comes to axolotls. You guys have done a lot of great work. I tip my hat. I don't have a hat, but I tip my hat to you guys. I commend you guys. All the captive breeders working with these awesome, amazing animals, and I commend these awesome, amazing animals for being just perfect, right? I'm your boy Smith. This is All Things Living. Thanks for showing up and tuning in. I know you could have been anywhere on the planet, but you decided to be here with me, and that's absolutely amazing. Anyways, I'm out.